I'm going to tell you about the most incredible place. And you know what? You're walking on it.
Darren, this is your first venture into television. And why this? Why did you decide this was something you wanted to get involved with?
I've kind of had an interest in this format for a long time. Koya Nisquatsi, remember that?
Yes.
Back in the day, it was a
Nisquatsi, oh yeah, that was another one.
It was a big influence, and then Baraka was a huge influence. And I've always loved these kind of portraits of, of our home, of our world. I think it's become sort of this incredible moment in time where sort of appreciating our home is really, really important. And when Nat Geo called about it, I was really excited because I knew some of Jane and Utopia's work and understood that they had, the experience to create scope and actually understood how to execute 145 locations on 6 continents over 3 years. And just being a big fan of National Geographic my whole life and realizing that, Nat Geo has done animals and it focuses on one thing, but the possibility of One Strange Rock was to tell the entire story of the planet from all the sciences, anthropology, chemistry, microbiology, astronomy, and sort of blend them together. So it really does feel like a issue of Nat Geo, because, when you flip through a Nat Geo, you'll see something about, this place on the planet, then you'll see something about these animals on the planet, and then these people. And this allowed for all of that over 10 hours. And then the big breakthrough that happened was, the astronauts. Was for a long time we were struggling, like who was going to be our Carl Sagan for this episode. Right. And suddenly someone from Jane's team had this idea of going to the only people who actually have seen the Earth as one image.
Well, as Darren said, we knew what we wanted the series to be, but who the voice of the series was something that we were endlessly discussing. And then one of our team, Vanessa Bolowitz, who'd worked on Planet Earth as an executive producer, she rang me in the middle of the night. It was like 5 a.m. She said, I'm still in my pajamas and I've had the idea. And she said, it's astronauts. And it was, it doesn't happen very often. You think that that's how TV gets made, is all those light bulb moments, but we all know they're really rare. But that was one of them. And we were all like, absolutely. In order to understand the complexity of the world, to see it as a unity, which is one of the big core ideas of this show, and how the systems that control the Earth, you have to look at it from outside. And you have to look at it both. This is a show both for your head, it's about information and ideas, but it's also an emotional show. And what we were really looking for is people who had both a kind of magical, emotional connection to the idea of the Earth. And we found it in our wonderful astronauts.
You really get a sense on a deep emotional level when you go up there. I mean, I've been out in a spacesuit. I hold my hand out there. There's a vacuum between my face and my hand. And you realize, you get this gut feeling for the hostility of almost the entire universe towards life. And then you look back towards our planet, and it's this oasis of life. It's something, I mean, we, as astronauts, we give quite a lot of public lectures and things, and we try to share these experiences. But when the opportunity came up to work with National Geographic, with Newtopia, people who really had the resources to make it possible for us to share these emotions, these feelings, these ideas with millions of people, I mean, that's why I was so excited about doing it. And I think the results have just been everything we hoped for.
To be reintroduced to the planet like this, I think everybody who watches this show will walk away with that same sense of that one border that matters, that we live on a planet, and that we're all Earthlings.